Hello students, welcome back to All4C learning classes. In the last session we discussed about the introduction of electrostatics, what is charge, what are the methods of electrifications. Now today's class we are starting about the properties of the charges, okay, basic properties of electric charge. See, basic properties of electric charge. Already we discussed about what is charge is a scalar quantity. Charge is a scalar quantity having only magnitude but not any specified direction. Okay. For suppose first property is here additive property. Additive property of charge. First one is additive property. If a system contains a number of charged particles, okay, some of them are positive or some of them are negative, okay. If a system contains number of charged particles, okay, positive charges and negative charges. But what is additive property means? It gives the total charge of the system. The total charge of the system of interacting particles is taken as algebraic sum of the individual charges. Algebraic sum of the individual charges. For example, here you may take in this system, you may take this is a one of the system. Okay, contains so many charged particles, like let Q1 is equals to 1 coulomb, Q2 is equals to 2 coulombs, plus 1 coulomb, here plus 2 coulombs, and Q3 is equals to minus 1 coulomb, and Q4 is equals to 8 coulombs. Okay, here we are taking an example of system of 4 charged particles Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. So among these 4, these 3 are the positively charges, okay. Q1, Q2, Q4 positive charged particles, Q3 is a negatively charged particle. But what is additive property means? The total charge of the system is equals to the algebraic sum of the individual charges. So let us take capital Q be the total charge. What is capital Q be the total charge of the system, which can be written as Q is equals to Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 plus Q4. See here, what is the magnitude of Q1 is 1 coulomb plus 1. Okay. And Q2 is plus 2. Plus Q3 is minus 1. Plus Q4 is 8. Okay, plus 1 here minus 1, they cancel. Total charge is 10 coulombs. Okay, this is a additive property. Just we are adding the magnitudes because charge is a scalar quantity. The total charge of the system of interacting particles is equals to the algebraic sum of the individual charges. Okay, this is about the first property. And coming to the second one, quantization of charge. Quantization of charge, second property. See, what is quantization of charge means? You may take any object, any body. The charge of any body is equals to the integral multiple of charge of an electron. Integral multiple of charge of an electron. Mathematically, it can be written as capital Q is equals to plus or minus NE. Capital Q is equals to plus or minus NE. Here N stands for integer. What is N be the integer? And E be the charge of electron. Small e is the charge of an electron. Its value is 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. Okay. See, capital Q is equals to, here we are writing plus or minus NE. N stands for integer, E be the charge of an electron. So the charge, magnitude of charge of the electron is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs. In the same way, charge of the proton is also same magnitude but opposite signs. Electron having negative charge, proton having the positive charge. Okay. Or the quantization of charge also can be defined as the minimum charge that can be transferred from one body to another body. One body to another body is also equals to integral multiple of charge of an electron. Means, in the last topic, whenever we are discussed about these electrification, their charged particles, electrons are transferring from one body to the other body. That is integral part of electrons only transferring. Either 2 electrons or 3 electrons, 4 electrons, like that. Okay. So such that here we are saying the minimum charge that can be transferred from one body to the another body is equals to the integral multiple of charge of an electron. So this is a quantization of charge. For suppose you may take a body contains, if example a body contains n1 number of protons, n1 number of protons are there, okay, and n2 number of electrons are there. N1 number of protons, N2 number of electrons. We know that what is the charge of the proton and electron is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. Protons positive charge, electrons negative charge. Then what should be the total charge of that body? So here we may write capital Q is equals to N1 number of protons. Protons having the positive charge. What is the charge of the each proton? E is equal to 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulombs. So the total charge of the protons is N1 into E. And coming to the, what are the total charge of the electrons? Total charge of the electrons. Charge of the single electron is E. N2 number of electrons are there. The total charge of the electrons becomes N2E. And N2 is a negative part, N1 is a positive part. So according to quantization of charge, here we may write Q is equals to N1 minus N2 into E. Okay. So this is about the second property, quantization of charge. And coming to the third one. Third property is conservation of charge. Conservation of charge. Okay. So what is conservation of charge? See, during the electrification, there we said that the charges are transferred from one body to the another body, but no charge is created and existing charge is not destroyed. Okay, just charged particles are transferring from one body to other, but no charge is creating in such process and existing charge is not destroyed. Okay, conservation of charge means charge neither be created nor be destroyed, but it can be transferred from one body to the another body. The total charge of the system remains constant. So that is conservation of charge. Okay, this is about the conservation of charge. Okay, these are the third property. We have some different properties. Charge is invariant. We may take another property is charge is invariant. What is charge invariant means? When the charged particle is in motion, the properties, the magnitude of the charge cannot changes. Charge is invariant. If the charged particle is in motion, its magnitude cannot changes. That is a fourth one. Okay, so these are the most important properties of the electric charge. Okay, next. So we know that what is like charges are repulse and unlike charges are attract with some force. To find the magnitude of the electrostatic force, whether it is attractive or repulsive, to find the magnitude of the force between the two charges, two point charges, here we are using Coulomb's inverse square law. Okay, Coulomb's So Coulomb's inverse square law is used to determine electrostatic force between the any two point charges. Any two point charges. See, for example, here we are taking 2 point charges. Let us take Q1 be the 1 point charge, and here we are taking another charge Q2. So what is mean by point charge? Point charge means the size of the charged particle is quite negligible as compared to the distance between them. As compared to the distance between them, if size of the charged particle is negligible, then we may treat them as point charges. Here we are taking 2 point charges Q1, Q2 separated by a distance r in free space, air. Okay, Q1, Q2 are the 2 point charges separated by a distance r in the free space or in air. Okay, see, according to Coulomb's inverse square law, the force of attraction or the force of repulsion, okay, if they are like charges, we know that they repel with certain force. If these two are unlike charges, they are attract. Okay, either the force of attraction or the force of repulsion between the 2 point charges is directly proportional to the product of magnitude of the two charges. The force of attraction or the force of repulsion between the 2 point charges is directly proportional to product of magnitude of the charges, and which is inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. What is the distance here? R be the distance, F proportional to 1 by R square. So combining, and one more thing, the force acts along line joining the two charges. The force of attraction or the force of repulsion is directly proportional to product of magnitude of the two charges and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them, and the force acts along line joining the two charges. So by combining these two equations, we may write F proportional to Q1 Q2 by R square, and F is equals to proportionality constant K into Q1 Q2 by R square. Okay, if these two charges are separated in the free space, the proportionality constant K is taken as K is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. K is equals to, what is the constant value here? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Its value is 9 into 10 to the power of 9. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is 9 into 10 power 9. Epsilon naught is called permittivity of free space. What is epsilon naught is? Epsilon naught is called permittivity of free space. The K value is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught and its value is 9 into 10 power 9. In that, only epsilon naught is permittivity of free space, and epsilon naught value is 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12. And from these equations, The units can be written as Coulomb square per Newton meter square. Coulomb square per Newton meter square. Okay. Now substitute the value, K value in this equation. What is F is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. So this is a magnitude of the force. Magnitude of the force between the 2 point charges Q1, Q2 when they are separated in free space, air. Okay, if any other medium, it is a different. It is a formula for only if two charges Q1, Q2 are separated by a distance or in free space, the magnitude of the force is F is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1, Q2 by R square. But we know that what is force is a vector quantity. Force is a vector. So we should write in vector form. The electrostatic force in vector form. See, F bar is equal to, in vector form, F bar is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square into R cap. What is R cap? R cap be the unit vector. R cap be the unit vector along the line joining between the two charges Q1 and Q2. Okay. R cap be the unit vector along line joining between the two charges Q1 and Q2. The purpose of the unit vector is only to specify the direction. So R cap can be written as vector R by magnitude of R. Now substitute if these value in this equation, we may write F bar is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R cube into vector R. This is a vector form of Coulomb's inverse square law. F bar is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R cube into vector R. Okay. So this is Coulomb's inverse square law to determine electrostatic force between only 2 point charges. What are point charges? If size of the charged particle is negligible as compared to the distance between them, we may treat them as point charges. So what is, according to Coulomb's inverse square law, the force of attraction or the force of repulsion between the 2 point charges is directly proportional to the product of the magnitude of two charges, inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. By combining these two equations, we will get F proportional to Q1 Q2 by R square. The proportionality constant taken as K. What is the value of K? K is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Its value is 9 into 10 power 9. And in that epsilon naught is called permittivity of free space. Its value is 8.85 into 10 power minus 12 Coulomb square per Newton meter square. So we know that this is the only magnitude. So force is a vector quantity. We should write in vector form. In vector form, F bar is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square into R cap. What is R cap? Is a unit vector, can be written as vector R by magnitude of R. So F bar is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R cube into vector R. Okay. See, if two charges here we are taking Q1 Q2 separated by a distance R. Okay. See, Coulomb's inverse square law always forms action and reaction pair. Action and reaction pair. See, the force acting on the charge Q1 by the Q2. The force acting on the charge Q1 by the Q2. If these two are like charges, they repelled with each other. Let us take, if Q1 Q2 is, first case, if Q1, Q2, the product of the two charges is greater than 0. When it is possible, if these Q1, Q2 are like charges, either both are positive or both are negative, plus into plus, okay, greater than 0. Again minus into minus, plus, greater than 0. Means if Q1, Q2 both are like charges, the magnitude is greater than 0, then the nature of force is repulsive. Okay, and the Q1 is repelled by the Q2, Q2 is repelled by the Q1. Let us take the force acting on Q1 by the Q2 is F12, and the force acting on Q2 by the Q1 is F21. So if the magnitude of F12 and F21 will be same, but only thing is directions are different. So we may write like this: F12 bar is the magnitude of F12 is equals to magnitude of F21, which is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. The force acting on the first charge by the second one, the force acting on the second charge by the first one, having equal magnitude, which is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. But what is here? Directions are different. They are moving away from each other, opposite directions. So we may write like this: in vector form, F12 bar is equals to minus F21 bar. F12 bar is equals to minus F21 bar. Negative sign indicates direction is opposite. Direction is opposite. So this is the first condition. In the same way, you may take second case. Two charges Q1, Q2 again separated by a distance R. But here if Q1, Q2, the product of magnitude of the two charges is less than 0, it is possible only in case of either Q1 is negative or Q2 is negative, unlike charges, plus into minus, minus less than 0. Then what is the nature of the force is? Then the nature of force is attractive. Okay, the Q1 is attracted towards the Q2, F12. This is F21. Means same magnitude, but here also opposite in a direction. So from these two equations we may say that Coulomb's law is a conservative force and Coulomb's law agrees Newton's third law. Coulomb's law agrees Newton's third law. What is Newton's third law? For every action there is equal and opposite reaction. Here the force acting on the first charge by the second one is equal to the force acting on the second charge by the first one. Equal magnitude but opposite in a direction. So that we may say that what is Coulomb's law is a central force, that too conservative force, and it agrees Newton's third law. Okay.